Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, TV, film, everything really. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On Twitter, you know me as PD Beats. Season 2 of a very popular show just got launched on Netflix last week. I'm talking about On My Block, and we are speaking to an actor and a musician who plays Jamal in On My Block. We're with Brett Gray. Brett, welcome to Popternative.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Just getting back into it. Congrats on the success of season 2 of On My Block. I mean, it's just been amazing, and it came out. It came out with a boom. Season 2.
Oh yeah, we did not expect anywhere near the amount of attention, so we're super excited.
Absolutely, and we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, but. Looks like Jamal is very, very crucial in season 2.
Yeah. I'd say season 1, he was more separate from the crew, like kind of going on his own path. But this season, he's with them a lot more. He demands a lot more attention. He's assertive this time, so it's cool.
The one thing that I kind of wanted to know is, it depends on the situation, but how much of Brett Gray is in Jamal Turner? Are you guys similar?
You know what's funny? I think we're not that much alike. Actually, we're both funny. I'm definitely funny. And of course, my voice is the same. So people think that I'm a lot like Jamal. But I'm really not that much like Jamal. I'm very chill. I am sort of like a homebody. I don't really, if I have a problem, I very much say it as soon as it happens. And I very much don't have a problem with confidence or anything. So we're not super similar. But I will say when I was 14, I was exactly Jamal.
Oh, wow.
So it's not hard for me to tap into that.
Absolutely. This is a show that has its moments where it's very funny. Your character kind of provides a lot of the comic relief. This is also a show, though, that deals with situations that are not funny.
Right.
How do you kind of, as an actor, how do you kind of prepare yourself for a project like this?
Well, I honestly, Jamal doesn't have too much stuff going on the drama end, so it's a little bit easier for me. But I will say in the scenes where I have to witness stuff happen, like even, this season I have a scene with Caesar and he's upset and crying and, he comes to live with me for a few episodes. So I think, being an observer of it, it's cool for my character because I really don't have to do too much preparation. I just get to be my funny self. And then when Caesar's crying, I just kind of take that in and just allow that to just, be the scene. But I will say it's really cool to watch people like Jason, who plays Ruby, tap into both the funny side and the quirkiness of Ruby and planning parties and stuff. And then the next minute be crying in Jasmine's arms about, wanting to be himself again. I do think that's really incredible.
And I'm sure a lot of those scenes, especially the first 2 episodes, kind of really hit you right out the gate. I mean, what was kind of when you were kind of filming those scenes? I'm sure you kind of felt the emotions everywhere.
Oh yeah. It's, it gets really heavy. Even the crew and stuff, they're really good about, when it's a tougher scene, they're more quiet and they do everything sort of a little bit quicker and try to, make it easy for us to just, get there. But honestly, it's all sort of, I feel like we've gotten so used to the tone of the show that it just kind of happens now.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's really good. And you know what? Netflix is an amazing platform for new shows right now.
It's the future.
It is.
At some point in time, we'll be like driving down highways and there will be like floating holographic Netflix billboards. Netflix is going to have like headquarters in the center of every city. It's going to be the future of entertainment.
But I find what's cool is they have kind of like this heavy rotation throughout the year of their original programming, specifically their television shows. And, On My Block has become a big part of that rotation. And I find it's funny because every actor and actress on one of their shows, whether it's On My Block, Stranger Things, Santa Clarita Diet, they're going to kind of have that like, all right, now there's going to be the big Netflix push. So talk a little bit about that. As soon as season 2 has come out, I'm sure, the social media and all the press has just been like nonstop.
Oh yeah, it's been crazy. Even like new auditions and stuff and offers and stuff are coming in. So it's all super exciting. I'm really glad that it's given us such a big platform, because I mean that's the point of the show is to represent people who don't always get to see their faces shown to them on TV. So I think it's really awesome. But I will say it's really cool to be a Netflix star, because it's not like, regular TV. It's very much a family. Like when we have Netflix events, I get to see everybody from Santa Clarita Diet and Dear White People and Stranger Things and, all these like, hit shows or whatever. We all hang out together, and it's very much a collective of all of us. And we're, when we go to stuff that's outside of the realm of Netflix, all of us sort of like band together, like, we're here.
I mean, you mentioned Stranger Things. I mean, that's going to be a huge part of everyone's summer coming out.
Oh, yeah. I'm really good friends with Caleb McLaughlin. So I check in on him every once in a while and see how he's doing. But he was just telling me, like, their press tour is going to be in Japan. Like, it's going to be a cultural phenomenon.
I was kind of seeing that you and the cast were doing some Q&As and some cool things with MTV and Teen Vogue, and it showed how kind of like how much of a family the On My Block cast is.
Oh yeah.
Now it's important to note that I have talked to a lot of other actors on shows and say that it doesn't happen all the time. You know what I mean?
No.
Sometimes it doesn't, but when it happens, it's amazing. But it definitely looks like the chemistry off the set as well has been amazing with the On My Block crew.
Oh yeah, we're honestly a giant family, and it's so weird because every actor like says that about their show, like, we're all a big family, but no, I mean all of the annoying, horrible parts of family as well. Like we all argue and we like talk to each other, and when the show is not filming, we fly to each other's cities to go see each other, and we're a big part of each other's lives. So I think it's awesome that we are so upfront with each other and that we are so connected, because it could go very wrong. But I also think that's part of the magic of the show. I think individually, everyone's great, but I think all together with the chemistry that we've created, I think it's just greater than the sum of its parts.
No, that definitely makes sense. I just find it's just because I pay attention to detail in interviews a lot. You know what I mean? I got to do my research and everything, and it just seems like there's almost like a secret language with mannerisms with you and the cast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we all lived together. Me, Jason, and Sierra, so Ruby and Monse, we lived together both seasons. So we do have our own like code language. And now, Jessica moving up to series regular has been awesome, because we all get to like, keep the spirit alive outside of the show. We all like get together at each other's houses and run lines together for the next day and everything. So it's like we almost come into set as a little army who's already had it prepared. So it's great.
Are there ever any inside jokes on set with cast members in regards to like? But no, I'm sure there are. No. I'm asking about specific inside jokes. There's going to be inside jokes, right? So for example, I believe the actress that plays Ruby's mother,
Paula Garces,
yes, who was in Harold and Kumar,
yes,
and plays Maria, and that's a legendary character, because that is that's like, so does any of that stuff ever like come up?
Well,
like,
Paula's a legend anyway, so we just kind of like, we all talk about it all the time. And also Emilio Rivera, who plays Chivo, him being a part of the Sons of Anarchy franchise, all that stuff comes up too. So, like one day we were at Crafty, and he was like, whose bowl is this or whatever? And I was like, Mayans. So it's like we mess with each other. But even Jason, like he did Logan, like we make fun of him all the time. Sierra was an extra in Hidden Figures, so like we talk about it all. We all make fun of each other.
Did you get chirped for Chicago PD?
I get chirped for Chicago PD, for Law and Order, for any musical I've ever been a part of, for Rise that was on NBC a couple years ago.
Because if I was on set, I would be just like, Maria, where's Harold? Like I would definitely do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then Paula will look at you like,
That's probably what she's gonna do. The show has everything. It has comedy, drama. But what do you kind of personally think hits stride with the audience of On My Block?
I think it's the mixture of both. I think our show is a very weird mix of comedy and drama. It's like you're watching Jamal talk to gnomes, and then the next scene is like Caesar homeless running from like 500 prophets, and then the next scene right after that is Ruby drunk, at a party of gang members, like teaching them how to like put out hors d'oeuvres. Like it's a very weird mix of the comedy and the drama. So I think it's not just both that are, helpful for us. It's how they're mixed together, which it's all from the mind of Lauren Unerick and Eddie and Jeremy Haft and Eddie Gonzalez, who are the creators and producers of our show, in the writer's room. It's just, I don't know how they do it. I feel like the way it happens is Lauren will say like, okay, Caesar needs this to happen. And then Jeremy will be like, okay, but what if this happens? And then Eddie is like, sort of reminds me of like the middle person to go, okay, Lauren, what if it happens like this? And then Jamal does this. So then we transition this way. I don't know how it really happens, but that's how I imagine it in my head. How
do you prepare for the over the top scenes with your character?
Oh my
Because like I was laughing, man, the season premiere of season 2, when you find out that the parents gave away your duffel bag. That was like, that was awesome. Like, how do you prepare for scenes like that, man?
You know what? I've learned that I shouldn't prepare so much because it's like, I don't know, season 1, I found myself getting in my head a lot, just like, oh my God, this is crazy. How do I do this? How do I rev myself up to be this, And I think the less I think about it now, the better. When I'm on set and it's just like, okay, Brett, you're here, you're hanging from a bin, you're in tiny whities, you're walking on the side of a highway, it's 110 degrees outside. Millions of people across the world are going to see this footage of you in your underwear. So I just have to turn it off. And then afterwards I go, oh God. Did I just do that?
It's just, I find that too sometimes when I'll even like rewatch episodes and I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I should have said it this way, or maybe I should have done it that way. But it's just like doing that, I feel like just makes it worse.
It makes it so much worse. You just have to get it out of the way. And then like now that the show is out, every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh, my legs.
I want to know a little bit more about your cast members, and hopefully you can kind of, if you had a good time, Popternative, you can maybe spread the word and see if anyone else will want to do. But I want to know, I do this when I interview a lot of athletes too, Brett, and I'll do like panels and I'll ask them like about their team, like who's the funniest, who's the, so I want to know about your cast members. I want to know about this On My Block family. So who's on the phone the most in the On the Block family?
Oh my gosh. That's hard. You know what? None of us. We're all bad at texting and calling and communication in general.
Who is the most competitive? Like I'm talking ping pong, video games.
Danny, 100%. Mario on the show. Danny, absolutely.
Okay. Who has the best laugh?
Jason. He's like, it's like
this is the one. This is the one where everyone wants this title all the time, especially with the athletes. Who can eat the most? Who has the biggest appetite?
I'm also going to probably give that to Jason. I don't know. We're all foodies, but I don't know if we eat a lot. See, Eric can eat. We all can eat, but I definitely might give it to Jason because Jason will go out of his way for food.
Who is listening to the music the most?
The music of the show?
In general, like who's going to be the one that you're going to see? It's you?
Me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're just like a constant guy, just like listening.
Yeah, and Sierra's always like, stop singing. Turn that off. What is this?
Oh, so you're like an out loud singer when you're listening to songs?
Oh, I'm a loud singer. And then Sierra's room was next to mine. So like when I go to sleep, I'll just turn the music and just put it on the speaker. Who cares? And she's just like, Brett, the music. I can't do it. I'm like, you're right. The volume's on 10. I'll put it at 6. It's fine.
Couple more questions before we wrap up, and it's actually more of a serious question because I do think it's important. post-traumatic stress is a theme that comes up in season 2 of On My Block, and I think it's a very important thing because everyone's going through tough times and everything, and it's a show that, you know, Ruby's dealing with a lot of that from season 1, issue in season 1, which caused him a lot of grief. Talk a little bit about, you know, your experience promoting a show like On My Block, that, and being a part of a show like this that touches on such important real life events. It's a fictional show, you know, the characters are not real, but what happens is like 150% real.
Right. You know what? It's easier actually, because we're not shy about those things on the show. We're not shy about, you know, teenagers having sex. We're not shy about teenagers having PTSD. We're not shy about teenagers falling in love or trying to find themselves or their place in the world. So it's honestly easier to promote because I think sometimes people have misconceptions about kids, you know, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, that all they're young and all they're doing is school and high school and all those things can almost be like its own little planet, you know, and, you know, teens are homeless. I think people forget that there are homeless teens. There are teenagers that get shot every day. There are teenagers that have post-traumatic stress syndrome or that are in love with other 14-year-olds and would give it all up, or that are their boyfriends are in gangs. You know what I'm saying? So I think our show gives credit where it's due, that, you know, those years are rough. And, you know, how we stick together and how we make it through is what matters, not, you know, what's going on, you know.
And it's different networks, but there's shows that kind of tackle similar issues than On My Block, like The Shy on Showtime. Do you see those shows kind of working together a little bit as well?
Oh yeah, I think it's awesome. It's all helping to push the story forward of what it's like to be marginalized in our country. And I think most, it seems, you know, we're called minorities, but it seems like a majority of the people that I speak to or I can, you know, represent or talk to are going through so many things at one time. I mean, there are teenagers out here taking care of a whole family, you know, so it's awesome to see this sort of trailblaze of new shows about, you know, people who are real. You know?
And I think a show that really kind of, you mentioned the word trailblaze. I mean, a show that has been on for a while, like Shameless, I think is a perfect example, right? Because that show just tackled everything.
Oh yeah.
And people were kind of like, wow, this is over the top. And then you watched it more and then you thought about it. You're like, not really. Like, this is happening.
Also, people are so dramatic in life. Like, if you just walk around and look at everyone, like, it's just as over the top in real life. It really is just as over the top.
So, it's amazing. And, no, you just keep saying over the top. And I just keep going back to those scenes of your character just getting mad at your parents. Gosh. Man, it's just like... Even in the first season when you were like, I have to eat something or I'm going to tell my secret.
Sandwiches. Oh my God.
Man,
and I really had to eat those.
Yeah, but I'm hoping they weren't in a bag for like 3 hours. Oh, they were.
Oh. Yeah, it was warm on set that day, and it was not a good thing. But you know what? I have fun. I'm the only one that gets to do it.
That scene, I don't know, that scene for so I love it. You're like, man, I've had so many scenes, so many things. What's this guy asking me? Egg sandwiches.
Literally egg sandwiches. And that was one of the hardest ones so far. The egg sandwiches and getting the actual eggs thrown at me in the Halloween episode season 1 was hard.
Oh, yeah.
Those eggs really hurt.
What about like also like the football scenes too, right? Like your character really didn't want to play football.
Yeah,
right?
that was hard only because it was so hot. And also they gave me like a couple hours of like football training, but I sucked so bad. All the real football players were looking at me like, what is going on?
Oh, for sure. Well, Brett, we'll wrap up, but thank you so much for coming on Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the connection.
No, absolutely, man. So where can people follow you on social media? What are the handles?
You can follow me at Brett Gray on Twitter and at I am Brett Gray on Instagram.
Perfect. Yeah. And can you tell our viewers to watch On My Block?
Yes, watch On My Block. Binge it. Last season, we were the #1 binge of 2018. We're going again for this year.
That's amazing, man. That's incredible. Well, keep it up, and yeah, everyone make sure you tune in. And, season 2 just dropped. So you could just go ahead and, if you haven't seen On My Block, watch season 1 and just go straight into season 2. A lot of people are doing that. Through. Yeah, a lot of people are doing this. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. And until next time, this is Brett Gray at Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.